Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at April in today's video, the April month head forecast. Before I get on with that, I just want to talk quickly about March. I'm not really that happy with how the March forecast went. I did predict a cooler than average month, but average to cooler than average really was a prediction. But it was a long way off what happened. It was an extremely cold March. The UK-based temperature was the joint coldest since 1962, the second coldest since 1962, tied with 1947. And in terms of the Central England temperatures, I've done a video about this already, it was the coldest since 1892. So it was an extraordinarily cold month, and I certainly didn't get anywhere close to predicting that. But I have got a theory that really when it comes to extreme months, be it cold, hot, wet, dry, when it comes to those very extreme months and seasons, the global computer models really don't pick them out. They're just really useful for the trends, but when you get these extreme months, no, I don't think the global computer models really pick them out, and it's very difficult for forecasters generally to pick up on very extreme months before they occur, and in extreme seasons as well. So not really that happy with how it went, but not surprised that I didn't pick up on the extreme events that was going to happen in March, because as I say, the computer models don't really pick up on those very, very extreme weather patterns. Anyway, getting on with the April forecast, and before I get on with it, I just want to mention the advertisement. Usually be a video ad sitting underneath my weather videos at GazWeatherVids.com. Please pay those videos. Should be supporting GazWeatherVids.com by doing that. We're going to start off with the CFS version 2 model, the 700 millibar height anomalies from the CFS version 2, and this is the 700 millibar height anomaly for the month of April. And what we're looking at here is above average heights indicated by the orange colours, below average heights indicated by the blue colours, and what the model is predicting is an area of blocking high pressure up around Iceland, stretching out to Greenland, with low pressure on a southerly tracking jet stream moving through the Atlantic and going into central and southern parts of Europe. So this is a very similar pattern to that which we've had through March. We've got blocking up to the north, we've got low pressure tracking to the south. It would be a cold signal from that. And indeed, this is the temperature forecast from the CFS version 2 model for the month of April. A very cold month is being forecast here, not just for British Isles, but for the whole of Europe. Very unusual to see this, with cold temperature anomalies stretching from Ireland and Portugal right the way through in towards central parts of Russia. It's very, very unusual to see that, but that is the prediction from the model this month. And you have a look at the precipitation. Well, not surprising really, with blocking areas of high pressure to the north and the northeast. We've got a drier than average signal being predicted here through Scandinavia, through Britain, through much of France, and on into Iceland, with the wetter than average signal going through the Mediterranean, so Spain, Portugal, into the Mediterranean, Italy, southeast of Europe. A signal to have wetter than average conditions. That's because the jet stream is tracking southwards, taking the low pressure through, with the blocking up to the north. Now this is a very similar signal, as I've just said, to what we had in March. The question we've got to ask ourselves about this is the CFS model really using that signal that occurred in March? Is it continuing it through April and not picking up on a signal to end this blocking and to return things more to a more normal pattern, which is the jet stream going north, losing the blocking, more sort of low pressure around Iceland and high pressure coming down into central parts of the Atlantic, into the Azores area? So is the CFS model not picking up on that signal? Is it continuing the cold signal that we've had in March, the extreme cold signal that we've had in March? Is it continuing it into April? Well, let's have a look at another of the Beijing Climate Centre. We're going to break this down into 10-day periods. So first of all, we're going to start off with the 500 millibar height anomaly for the month of April, and this is the month of April being signalled here. It's a similar sort of signal to that which we have from the CFS version 2 model, actually, as an anomaly for the month. We've got the jet stream tracking through the Atlantic going into the British Isles. We've got blocking up here around Greenland and Iceland. So it's quite a similar sort of pattern. The jet stream probably not quite as far south into the Mediterranean, but it's quite a similar pattern to that which we see from the CFS version 2 model. 500 millibars is a different area in the atmosphere to the 700 millibar high anomalies that we're just looking at, but it's the same sort of idea. And again, blue indicating below average heights, low pressure, orange indicating above average heights, high pressure. But if we break this down into 10-day periods, then it gets a little bit more interesting, because the signal there for the first 10-day period, which is taking us from the 1st to the 10th of April, is for lots of blocking to the north, the southerly tracking jet stream going through the Atlantic in towards central parts of Europe. There's the below average heights through Central Europe, indicating the low pressure moving through there. So that's a cold signal for the first 10-day period, and that's quite good, I think, quite a good signal, because it is a cold start to April. We know this already. But as we move beyond this, we do start to see a change here for the next 10-day period, which is going from the 11th to the 20th, with below average height becoming more centred towards the west of Scotland and Iceland, and an area of below average height starting to develop around Spain and Portugal. So this is indicating the jet stream is going north. We're starting to lose that southerly tracking jet stream. We're losing the blocking over Greenland as well, notice. So that's a more normal sort of spring type pattern. As we get through to the next 10-day period, which is the 21st to the 30th, then we've got an area of above average height sitting just to the west of the country, and that's probably feeding up some really quite mild air indeed around that area of high pressure. That's a very nice spring-like sort of pattern for the final 10 days of April. Would be nice and mild and spring-like were that to occur. Now, the temperature anomaly for the month is showing that it's a colder than average month being signalled here, but I think what we've got happening is we've got a very cold start, and we've got a much milder end, so maybe this is a bit overdone. It probably won't be as cold as this is predicting. And for the temperature, for the precipitation anomaly, I should say, sorry, it's an average month being predicted, but I would tend to side more towards the drier than average side of things with those anomalies. So this is a very difficult month to pin down this April, because we're starting off with a very extreme pattern that we had in March. The CFS model in particular is running with that throughout the month, but I don't think it's right. I think we're going to see this blocking breaking down. We're going to return to a much more spring-like type pattern, although I wouldn't be surprised if we keep getting throwbacks into colder conditions. I don't think the pattern we had in March will entirely give up on us, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a much milder month, really, this April, despite the cold start. Now, we are starting off very cold, so it can take a lot to turn that around. So what I would suspect is going to happen is that in the end we'll come out just a little bit cooler than average, but it won't be an extremely cold month. And I think the second half of April does promise, in particular, some much milder, more spring-like conditions. In fact, it could get quite warm. Wouldn't be surprised if we have a brief spell of very warm weather sometime around the 20th of April. So that would be quite nice, with temperatures going up into the 70s Fahrenheit. Finally, having a very quick look at the CFS 700 millibar high anomaly for May, and we see below average heights here up to the north and the northeast of the country, above average heights well away into the Atlantic. That's an unsettled and cool looking May pattern, but we'll worry about that when we get to it. So finally, in summary, the April month-ahead forecast from GavsWeatherVids.com is for a very slightly cooler than average April, near normal, slightly cooler than average, precipitation near normal. But the big thing about this month is that we're starting off very cold. We're going to transition into spring through the month. I think we will still get throwbacks to cold weather. There will still be cold snaps at times through the month, but also there'll be some very nice spring-like weather, particularly in the second half of the month when it could get really quite warm. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.